Hello, everyone. I'm Ann with Andale Homestead.
And this is Sandi from Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming, Arizona.
I'm Monica at Bland's Promised Land Ranch.
And hello, everyone, and happy New Year's Eve. I am Cayce over at Ormsby Farms. And as you can tell, yes, we are pre-recorded again because we are spending some time with family before we ring in the new year for 2025. But we wanted to shoot this episode so you can still join us. And we're talking about New Year, new goals. On this episode, our podcast that came out yesterday, but that was the topic. But Ann, do you want to just say a big hello just to everyone? No one
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. I am so glad that you're here. Of all the places in all the world, and you decided to come and spend a little time with us, we want to thank you. So thank you for being here, everybody.
So this topic, let me just tell you, because most of y'all know we pre-record our episodes. I felt so rejuvenated after shooting this particular episode of New Year, New Goals, because Sandi just wrapped my mind around a new way of thinking of preparing your homestead for the new year. Sandi, do you want to kind of talk a little bit about that, about what you talked about on that episode?
Well, a lot of times it's the new year. People, quote unquote, have the resolutions. You know, it's like it's fed to us through every news organization. You need to have some resolutions. And how many people after a week, 2 weeks, a month, it's just not there because it's not a goal. It's not set in your heart. It's not set in your mind. You haven't written the parts because I like to break things.
Okay. And we are having a little bit of internet issues this evening. All of the lives that I have seen in the last few hours, there are some internet issues. And what Sandi was saying, Monica, you and I and Cayce, you're still here, correct?
Yeah, we're here.
We're here.
There's Sandi. I saw her move.
There she is. I see her.
Oh, that is so weird. So sorry. But what I was saying,
New Year freeze.
I was saying is that when you have a goal versus a resolution, you break it down. You know what parts are what. You know, like say you have a goal for your garden. You're going to revamp it. You're going to do it. Let's break it down. It's only January. What can I do before I actually have to do that? What do I have to do to get prepared?
Right. Yeah.
And I really think that you are so much more successful that way. Now, Monica, do you do goals? Do you look at what's happening at your homestead and what you're going to do for the next year?
Yeah, I think sometimes, I like to do like vision boards and things like that sometimes. Like I can get myself together. I have a paper. I have a planner. I have a paper planner that I like to sit and look at. And I do look back with Eric and look at what we've done. And we look at where we want to go for next year and what we want to accomplish. We don't really set New Year's resolutions. We just set new goals or take the goal that maybe we had for 2024. Sometimes those goals carry over. It's like your HSA, it rolls over sometimes with you because you don't use all the medical stuff that year, but the following year you use all the medical money that you got stored up. Well, that's how my goals are, just like the medical stuff, just rolled over sometimes. Stuff that you need to get done, you just didn't get done, and that's okay. And yeah, we do. We make the goals and we look and see how we're going to accomplish them. And I think it's important to do that because when you have a farm, especially, I think it's important because we're not like Eric and I don't really live in this season as much as we live in the next season. In August, we're living in winter already, thinking how many bales of hay do we need? How many, animals are we going to keep through the winter? How are we going to, how many tubs of protein are we going to need? A mineral? What animals are we going to breed over the winter? You're already thinking a season ahead. And I think when you're gardening, you're kind of doing that as well. You're thinking, I'm planting for this garden now. So it's the same way, really. I guess we're always just kind of planning ahead. And so setting your goals and setting your your New Year goals is kind of work the same way, I think, and at least in my mind. So yeah, we do. We do it kind of inadvertently, I think, sometimes that we plan ahead that way.
Well, you know what I really loved on our regular episode? Because like have a vision board. I have it in my office. I add stuff to it. I have pictures. But Monica had the greatest idea about putting it on the fridge because you see it every single day. I love that idea.
Mm-hmm. Oh, a smart moment there, girl. A smart moment.
I forgot that I said that, actually. What's funny is that I have a really dear friend who has been trying to lose weight this year, and she has lost a considerable amount of weight, and she feels so much better about herself, and she's just doing amazing with it. And she set this goal for herself, and she did it. Well, my daughter was at her house watching her animals a couple months back. And she sent me a picture and she's like, Mom, you have to see this. And she sent me a picture of my friend's fridge. And on the fridge it's all these magnets of a doctor. His name is Dr. Nalzardan, or Dr. Now. He's from My 600-Pound Life. And he has these quotes like,
Yes.
You could have lost 30 pounds by now. And so all these little stickers were all over her refrigerator. And so every time she puts her hand on her fridge, she sees it. Okay. And so it was a good reminder to her that, hey, I want to look a certain way. I want to be somewhere health-wise. I'm going to pay attention. So having it on your fridge makes so much sense because it's right there in front of you every single time.
It's staring you in the face.
It is. And it's not just about eating. You can have lots of different goals, but if it's on the fridge, it's there no matter what, because everybody does eat food or drink drinks. So
yes. That's right. I think
have a smart moment.
That was a doable idea for me, because trying to keep up with a list or a book or even I have done vision boards and then never looked at them again. And so to have them some sort of paper or board or something that's on the refrigerator is something that you're going to see all the time. I think that's wonderful. It was, Cayce, I understand where you're talking about a new frame of mind, because when Sandi said, I don't do resolutions, but I can have goals. And it was like, wow.
Ding, ding.
Melts away that stress of trying so hard, of failing every single year. I fail in resolutions. But goals are something that you can go, okay, well, it didn't happen this week, but I can do it next week or even next month or 6 months from now, something like that. These are goals to accomplish certain things.
Right.
And we do that here where we're planning for the fall garden or a winter garden or a spring garden. When we gather all the leaves, because there's a lot of leaves in the land of plenty and lots of leaves. And so when we would gather the leaves on these tarps and go and put them on our garden, and we're planning for that to be able to break down and house and keep seedlings warm and keep them, what I call them, safe as I'm tucking them into bed for the winter.
Yeah.
So those kinds of things, it really brought these shoulders down to go, that's a great idea. I think I'll have goals instead of anything else. So how about you, Cayce? Did you feel a sense of peace?
I did. And she also said one thing, and I think all four of us can sometimes be in this situation where we don't take enough time for ourselves.
Yeah.
Take time for yourself also. With all of y'all, two of y'all, well, no, all three of y'all are grandmothers and mothers.
Yeah.
I mean, I know from my own mother, who is a grandmother to be as well, that y'all give. And you don't always say, okay, I need to stop and take some Andale time. I need to stop and take some Monica Bland time. I need to stop and take some Sandi time.
Yeah.
And I've been the same way. And when I heard Sandi say that on the podcast, it's like, you know what? I have to schedule some time for Cayce.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
I've already announced it, so I'm able to, even though we pre-record, I've already announced it in real life that we are moving the farm. And being able to move and focus on what I need to get done for this new one. I've got to take some time for me so I don't go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs
Right.
by the time that we move. And knowing that you can stop and take time for yourself and do goals instead of resolutions.
Yeah.
As Ann said, this whole weight of stress falls off your body, that it's something that's attainable.
Right.
Right.
You're saying, oh, I'm gonna lose 25 pounds. I mean, most people don't. Let's be for real. Let's be for real for a second.
We can have that goal,
Yeah.
but
It's a great goal. Now I know health goals are important too.
Mhm.
After the live, I cut out white flour, white sugar, white rice, anything bleached. I literally threw it away. I know that sounds terrible. People are gonna be like, you threw away food. But in my mind, it was the only way for me not to use it.
Yeah.
But that's a way of doing like a health thing for the new year is
absolutely.
making that goal instead of saying, I'm going to lose X number of pounds or I'm going to do this of making. I can't remember how Sandi put it, but she breaks it down into like smaller goals. Like instead of saying, okay, I'm building all this and this. Okay, maybe this one. Let's first start with I'm going to put up the fencing for this garden.
Yeah.
Go from there. Okay, now I'm going to get this done. So it doesn't seem so overwhelming at the time.
Yeah, you're kind of
and-
putting your goals on layaway, right?
Yes.
When you think about it, right? With resolutions, you just want to be like, "Yep, this is my resolution," and but there's no like tangible way to achieve it. People just say that's like their wish. Like if they say it, they put it out there, and then you feel really guilty later on. And 6 months in, you're like, "Oh, I didn't do what I was supposed to do." Nobody said you were supposed to do that. You're the boss of your own life. Knock it off. Like, but you're like putting something on layaway. You're like, this is my goal. This is my thing that I want to accomplish. And now I'm going to put it on layaway and I'm going to do these little things and little payments to pay it off because that's what you're doing, right? You're just paying it off, but you're paying it off for yourself in that way. I don't know. I think it's great. It's a great idea.
I do too. I do too. And as far as self-care, I've been thinking a lot about that after we had that talk. Because I do have a number of people that say, well, Ann, what are your hobbies? What do you do for a hobby? And I went, well, I don't know because I look after the grandchildren. We're gardening. I'm cleaning. We're cooking. We're trying to prepare for something else, doing this and that. And I love to play in like watercolors and things like that. I really enjoy that, but I haven't pulled those paints out for 2 years because I haven't taken that time to be able to look after me, to foster something that I would enjoy. So I am going to work towards that, to recognize that I'm not letting someone else down by allowing myself to enjoy. And so, how about you, Sandi? You do so many amazing things. I'm glad that you have shared that with us.
But what I think one of my goals for 2025 is that I have a good, bad, however you want to look at it. When I go to do something, to make something, to grow something, a lot of times in the back of my mind is, can I sell that? Can I make money from that? Instead of not enjoying it just for myself.
Right.
So I've made some goals of some things I'm going to do with fused glass that I'm not going to show people. I'm not going to have them in a show. I'm just going to make them, put them in my house and just enjoy them. Because so many times as a homesteader, I can do this, so I can pay for this. I can do this instead of going, I just love to do this. So this is what I'm going to do. Now, eventually, might I sell those things? But for this year, those specific things that I have as a goal, I am not going to sell and I'm not going to post them and I'm not going to show anybody. I'm just going to enjoy them.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yes.
There was a time when I was making screen wire angels, and I'm telling you, when you talk about blood, sweat, and tears, try working with screen wire. I mean, seriously. And I made probably over 300. And
Wow.
do I own one? No, I
Oh,
don't own one.
oh,
And they're beautiful. And I would appreciate that. And luckily, Worth and I inherited his mother's. So
Oh,
now I can have one on top of my tree. But those are the types of things. I love that idea,
yeah.
Sandy.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
a lot of times when we start doing things, because it's like you make it, like when you make it an income based thing, like you have a
Sure.
hobby, right? So I like love to garden, and I'm starting to make different things, and I start making jams, and Eric's like, well, why don't we go and you can sell some of your jams? And I'm like, but then it's a job.
Yeah.
mhm.
It's fun when it's not a job. If it's a
Right.
job, I don't want to do that. Like
Yeah.
I want to keep it for me. And then I feel so greedy sometimes that I don't want to like sell it, because then I feel bad asking people for money. I'm like, I would rather give it to you if you want it. If you are going to appreciate it and you're going to love it and you're going to
Yeah.
love this as much as I love it, then let me give it to you. I don't want you to buy
Right.
it, 'cause now it's a job. I don't want it to be a
Yeah.
job. And so that's like, if anytime somebody, like I'm doing something fun for me, and then someone's like, that's really good, you should sell that. And I'm like, I don't want to, never mind. I'm done.
Mm.
Like it really gets in my head. And I'm like, I don't want
No,
to do it now.
it was that way, for most people know that I sell breads at the farmer's market.
Yeah.
When I first started making bread, it was therapeutic for me. Yeah.
Mhm.
I loved making bread and rolls and biscuits.
Yes.
And then you start selling them and you think, okay, I'm just going to sell like maybe 5 or 6 here. And then it gets to where you're selling 30, 40, 50 loaves over
Right.
the weekend.
Right.
And then you're having to do more time to make it. And then it's not fun anymore. And then you're
Right.
like, oh, I don't feel like making the bread. And then you go to the
Yeah.
store and you buy store-bought bread and then you kick yourself for a week. Why do I know that? Because
Yeah.
it happened. I was like,
Mhm.
I'd rather go buy store-bought bread that has all these preservatives in it than
Mm.
make bread because I'm so over it at this point.
Yep.
Right.
So I get it. So that's a great goal, Sandy, to say, you know what?
Yeah.
Do this. Don't share it on social media. Don't sell it. Do it for you this year.
Yeah.
And I may try that with my bread again this year. I may take another thing from Sandy and try and be like, you know what? I'm going to make bread for me. Nobody else
Yeah.
but my
There
family.
you go. Or your
Yeah.
family. Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean,
Right.
we learn from each other here, and
Mhm.
it's
do,
so
what?
wonderful to be able to share those
Yeah.
ideas.
And as a homesteader, you need to have a certain amount of income. And we're
Yeah.
not saying on every aspect of your life,
Yeah.
you just don't
No.
sell anything, because
Yeah.
as a homesteader, you need to make money.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
But find something that's just for you.
Mhm.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be something you make. Maybe it's you walk every single day. You enjoy the miraculous that's all around you.
Yes.
Um,
Yep.
I'm reading this wonderful book on miracles, and he's going through the Bible on all the different miracles, but some of them you don't even realize,
Right.
that God's walking on the wind. And
Mm.
so today was
That's
windy,
cool.
and it was just like, oh, where are you right now?
That's
You
right.
know?
Right.
So it can be little tiny things,
Yeah.
but make it some kind of goal this year to love yourself and love the world around you, and
Mhm.
push everything else away for just that little bit of time each day.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's a great goal. Eric will chop wood, and he would come home from a busy day at work, like all day. And he's like, I got to go chop wood. And I'm just like, why are you going to go chop wood? You don't have to do that. Let the kids do. And he's like, Monica, sometimes I just want to go chop wood, because
Yeah.
for me, it gets me centered. In the summertime, a lot of times he'll just say, I'm going to go get on the tractor and go top off the weeds. Okay. It's just something he wants to go do for a few minutes. And that's
Right.
usually how my garden is for me. And he'll say, what are you going to do? I'm going to go get in my garden for a few minutes because I just need to get myself together. I will
Right.
walk through and just put my hands along the tops of the plants, just
Mhm.
because I just need to get myself grounded, get myself centered, do something. yeah, it's important to find those things that are just for you. Last year I started embroidery, and I'd never done embroidery before. I've done like cross stitch and things like that.
You're such a homestead girl.
I literally started doing these little embroidery kits, and my kids were like,
Cool.
"Mom, you bought these embroidery kits?" I'm like, "Yeah, I did. I bought like 5 of them." And in my brain, I'm like, "I'm going to give them as gifts. It's going to be wonderful." And then I set this timeline for myself. And then I did it every night. And after like a week and a half, I started getting to the point where I was like, "This is just too much. I can't do it." And then I was like, "Whoa,
Oh.
nobody knows these are going to be their gifts. You don't
Mhm.
have to give it to them right now. You can
Right.
give it to them 2 years from now." And I'm like, "Yeah, I can." So I gave the like 2 or 3 that I did away as gifts, and then I
Mhm.
kept the kits. And so the other day I sat down and I'm like, "You guys are watching a movie? I'm going to start embroidering for a few minutes." And I pulled my little embroidery kit out, and they're like little ornament kits, and I started working. And you
Oh.
know what? If I get done the little ornament embroidery kit that's like, I think it was like, Merry Christmas, he is here, or something like that. I'm like, if
Mhm.
I do it, I do it. And if I don't, nobody knows. Like, it's just me.
That's right.
And so I just took
Yeah.
time, but I am enjoying it because it's just for me. And then when I do it, I show my kids and I'm like, "Look how pretty this is." And they applaud for me. They're like, "Yes, mother, good." No, it's not like that. But
No, but you have to figure out when
I'm
it is the
enjoying.
right time for you to do it.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
you can't always put a time limit on what you need
Right.
to do.
Yeah.
I
And I did
remember
that to myself.
season 2, I talked to Monica about, I don't know if anybody else has read it. It's called The Bible in a Year.
Uh-huh.
And I can't remember if you talked about it or Carmen over at Jesus Loving Home Center, that one of y'all used it in homeschooling. Was that
I
you
think
or was it
she
Carmen?
probably does it. I am an anti-Bible in a year person, and I can tell you why in a minute. But go ahead.
But I had, season 2, which is coming up on 4 years ago. I
Woohoo.
bought I bought the Bible in a Year, and I don't think it's called the study guide. It's behind me somewhere on my little thing back here. And never did it. And I always used to like beat myself up. But this
Yeah.
year in my body, I feel like January 1st will be the year that I started, because I really I want to start learning scripture more, like learning and understanding. I did a whole Advent series on my channel where I had to read scripture. It set
Mhm.
scripture through our church for each candle and the purpose. And I was reading some of it that I hadn't read and having to stop the recording and be like, wait, what did I just read?
Yeah.
And then you get frustrated because you don't understand it, but you want to understand it.
Mhm.
So I was like, you know what? I think this is the year. I think God is finally telling me, you've had it for almost 4 years now. You done paid your little $50 on the Amazon. And I think this is the year I will allow you to do the Bible in a year. But I'm passing it back over to Monica for her anti-Bible in a year.
Well, not really anti. I mean, I guess not. So I think that it's important to read. Look, last year you did Vlogmas, and it was amazing because you ended every day of Vlogmas with some Luke. You read from the book of Luke.
Mhm.
It was amazing and it was beautiful. And my kids were listening to it, and it was really cool. But you weren't feeling pressured to read the whole chapter, right?
Right.
You were
Right.
reading
Right.
sections of it sometimes. And I think that sometimes people get so hung up on, just like I said, I set myself this like, I'm going to do all these embroidery kits, and I'm going to give them to such and such and the X, Y, and Z, and they're going to get them. And then I got so overwhelmed with it. It made it, I'm just done with it.
Yeah.
When you have a Bible in a year and you have all this ginormously beautiful, well-written love letter that's written just for you, and you try to consume it all at one time, a lot of times you're doing Old Testament, New Testament in one day, and you're doing 3 chapters of this and 4 chapters of that. And that's a lot to consume. That's like eating
Yeah.
7 meals a day. If you're going to eat 7 meals a day, you're going to get bloated. You're going to feel really full, and you're not going to know what you ate 3 days ago. And the problem with that is sometimes when you try to read that wonderfully written perfection that is the Bible, you're going to lose some of it.
Yeah.
Take your time. Just like with my embroidery, nobody is putting limits on that except for you. God doesn't say,
Bible in 2 years.
huh?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, do it in 2 years.
You do it a little.
Take your time.
Just something each day.
Take your time. Don't give that. And if you start on it and you do, I don't want to discourage you. Like you
Yeah.
go in, you go in, and if you love it and you're like, I can do this, awesome, go do it. But if you get 3 weeks in and you're like, oh my gosh, just give yourself grace.
Well, I always get nervous because there's certain ones like the Luke. I really enjoy the book of Luke. I really enjoy Psalm. And I'm nervous that I'm going to get to one that I'm like, ooh.
You are. You're going to get to those and you're going to be like, ugh.
I know Genesis is a little tough.
Wait till you get to Leviticus. There's some meat and potatoes for you. We're doing that one in Sunday school right now. And they were talking about all the different offerings. And I'm like, it's like a homestead right here is what this is.
That's right.
But yeah, that's the thing. With anything you do in the new year, set your goals, but take little bites. Try not to overwhelm yourself, because otherwise it's going to be like that resolution that you made 20 years ago to be in a size 8 jeans. And everybody knows you ain't wearing no size 8.
That's
for the ladies out there. We all know you ain't wearing a size 8. You still in your 14s, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Size 8 is 32 in men. Just fun fact.
Yes. Thank you.
So all you 32 men,
Thank you for that.
you. No, you're not 32 anymore.
But that's the thing. Like, yeah, you have to take those little bites. You have to put your plans on layaway and take a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Now, I do have to say a funny story. This is totally to the size 8 jeans and size 32 funny story. So for those that know, I do the Nutcracker every year. I play a father in the party scene, and I play Mother Ginger. And so we get our costumes this year. And again, this is pre-recorded, so it was very recent that I got my costume. And the sweetest costume girl that works in the costume department, she was like, all right, Mr. Cayce, this is your costume from last year. So I'm looking, I said, oh, bless your heart. These 32 size jeans are not mine. Bless you. But we're looking for more like a 42 or a 40. But she looked, bless her heart, she was like bright red. I'm like, I'm sorry, that was probably a little much, but I am not anywhere near a size 32. But thank you for that. And that's my funny story, that she thought I was a size 32. I ain't been that since middle school, but thank you.
So Anne, when you're looking into 2025, do you have some goals that you really would like to just,
I
really work?
I do have some goals. I mean, I have recently started, and this is nothing about not having things for sale, but like we said, we're homesteaders. We need money for things for sale. And I have begun to explore the world of making oils and healing, as far as naturally healing, in a deeper respect of that, and to try to, I'm researching and looking and stuff. And I just started making some body butters, and I even texted Monica and said, does your body butter do this? Because this is weird. She said, yeah, you'll be all right. Go on. And so I just think that, it's fun right now. It's not a job, although it hopefully will bring in some income. So I do have goals of moving forward to enjoy the process.
Yes.
To enjoy the moment. And if it sells, great. If it doesn't, I want to have enjoyed learning that and helping heal myself and my family. So,
right.
Yeah, so that's a goal that I have.
I love that.
Yeah, it's really amazing when you change your perspective of the New Year's resolution to a New Year's goal.
Yeah.
And your mindset changes. A goal comes from your heart and your mind and your soul, where a resolution, everybody just knows that, 99% of the people that are going to have a resolution is never going to finish it.
Right.
And we just know that because we see it over and over and over again. But when you change that mindset, then you can be successful.
That's right. That's exactly right. And with that, I think that is a great place to stop. Don't you guys?
I love it.
I think that's absolutely amazing. So, Sandi, would you close us out, please, as far as understanding that it is about mindset? We can reach for goals in 2025, but the word resolution immediately makes me heavy
Mhm.
and brings on a sense of failure. But the word goal gives me lift and squared back shoulders of learning new appreciation for things and taking the
Yes.
pressure off.
Yeah.
So,
So really, everybody, we just so appreciate you coming in.
Yeah.
You know, just think of it. It's 2025. It seems like just yesterday it was 2000.
It does.
And already it's a quarter of a century later.
Wow.
You know, bomb. You know, it's just like, wow. So let's just take some time, you know, center yourself. You know, maybe you need to go away for a day or to go out and have coffee by yourself and start writing. Just like, I love this technique of you just take a pen and you just write anything that comes into your brain,
oh my
you know,
God.
and then you go back and go, okay, I'm throwing that out. This one I like, you know, and so just make 2025 the best it can be, you
Yes.
know. Set some goals. Don't go crazy. Don't have 100 goals. Who can finish all those?
Yeah.
But even if you had
Right?
1 or 5, and then you can go, okay, this really feels right to me. This goal really feels right. Break it down. And you know, as we go through, and you can say in the chats different times, remember when we talked about goals, this is what I've been doing. We'd really love to hear those kind of things.
Yeah,
Agree.
for sure.
You know, and we just love you to pieces. I mean, seriously, we talk about this all the time, that how much fun this is.
It is.
And so we just want to bring you along with us. And we just hope 2025 is the best possible year you've ever had. And we just really thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year. Bye, y'all. Bye.
Bye.
I love that.
Have a great year.